Well, because when I got up to the scene,
At the intersection of Hillcroft and Richmond, officers responded tonight to an incident that was reported as a hit-and-run accident. When officers arrived at the scene, they were dispatched about 2:57 a.m. They arrived about a minute later and found one vehicle still at the scene. The other vehicle had left. The driver of the vehicle that was here was still in his car. Officers approached to check on him, to check on the accident. At that point, the driver exited his vehicle, and when he exited the vehicle with a firearm in his hand. Officers gave him commands to drop the firearm. He did not. He failed to follow those commands and went to turn towards the officers, at which point the officers discharged their weapons and they struck the suspect at least one time. He was taken to the hospital. He is in stable condition. We believe his injuries to be non-life-threatening. We do not know what caused the crash. We don't even know what he hit. Whatever vehicle it was gone when the officers arrived. We do have several witnesses that stayed behind, so we'll be questioning them and moving forward with the investigation. Thankfully, no one's life is being threatened. Neither of the officers were hurt. The officers were a 14-year veteran and an 8-year veteran and been on the department for a little while. So, do you have any questions?
Do you know if the suspect was impaired or intoxicated? What do we know about the guy in the car?
We don't know for sure. Obviously, there's been no testing, but we do believe alcohol could have been a factor. Some type of impairment could have been a factor. We don't know the cause of the wreck. We'll be checking video footage from nearby stores and locations to try and get a better idea of what happened prior to officers' arrival.
What can you tell us about that vehicle? Was there anybody else in it? Age of the suspect, that kind of thing?
As far as we know, the suspect was the only occupant of the vehicle. He's a black male, approximately 40 years of age. The vehicle, obviously, as you can see behind us, was disabled, and so he was still at the scene when officers arrived.
The other vehicle that took off, would you like to talk to that person?
Yes, we would definitely like to talk to that person. We don't even know yet, who would have been at fault in the accident, but that person did leave the scene prior to officers arriving, and we would like to know who that was.
And were there any firearms recovered?
We did recover the suspect's firearm, and Houston Forensic Science Center personnel who are here now are checking it out and gathering all the evidence to complete this investigation.
And just to be clear, Chief, both officers fired on the suspect?
Yes, both officers did discharge their weapons. The suspect was struck at least one time, lower extremities or extremities, and was taken to the hospital, and he's in stable condition.
Any indication that the suspect fired on your back?
We do not know that he ever discharged his weapon. You can clearly see it in his hand on the officer's body-worn camera footage.
You've taken a look at the...
Yes.
How quickly did all this transpire, between the time the police officers got here and the discharging of the weapon?
Officers had only been on the scene maybe a minute, if that much, when this incident occurred. They were approaching as if it was a wreck, and there was someone there they needed to assist, and then the individual got out of the vehicle with a firearm.
Chief, our body cam policy about releasing body cams.
Yes, we have a policy. We will release body cams within 30 days of the incident. So obviously that'll be reviewed. We'll go through it, put it together, and then release it like we always do.
Were witnesses able to give you any kind of description of the other vehicle involved?
Witnesses did mention there may have been a black vehicle, possibly a pickup truck, but they weren't certain. They didn't have a really good description. So.
Any other questions?
Your officers are okay?
Yes, our officers are fine. Thankfully, neither of them were injured. They're doing okay. Talked to their families, made sure their families know they're okay. So we're very thankful for that, and we're very thankful that the suspect, while his actions were led to him being injured, that's the worst of it, and that hopefully he'll make a full recovery.
And the policy then for these two officers going forward, will they be reassigned temporarily, or will
right? As in any officer-involved shooting, the officer will be placed on administrative duty while they go through our critical incident protocol, and as soon as they clear that, then they'll be placed back on duty.
Thank you, Chief.